has got security here. He doesn't have to worry about a head coach on this set being in the last year of his deal.
I just keep getting offended because everyone tries to take you away from us, okay?
Nobody does.
It's hard. We love having you here.
Hey, you know we a fight, don't you?
Oh, there ain't no question. And I can honestly say right here, first off, I'm not so sure that Zimmer's got that job right now. I'm not real sure about that. I can honestly say I don't believe that's a fact right now. But I will say this. The reason I was so, like this is, I've been out for 7 years. I've never called another head coach or anything like that. I called Mike McCarthy, and the reason I did is because I want to be on this stage. I want to be back on this stage if I'm going to get back into coaching, have a chance at that. I think with this roster the way it is, I think offensively, special teams, and defense, and I figured I can make maybe even a little bit of an upgrade, that they could be right here. That's why I was interested. I don't, you know, it's funny how, well, should we get the, no, your team has no chance at me, okay? That's generally the case. I would only go at the right situation. And if it's not completely right, then I'm not going. But this team, it is interesting because they are so close to getting over that edge, and that's why I think people would be interested in this job.
Well, the closest.
So with that being said, you know, Rex Ryan is throwing a grenade over here, and he's saying that Mike Zim, he's not all the way sure that Mike Zim got the contract. And this is a storyline that happened during the Super Bowl, right before the Super Bowl or what have you, with Rex Ryan saying that, hey, he still is in the mix with it, and he's not sure that Mike Zim got the job. Now, Jerry Jones loved to stir up the pot as it relates to this media stuff, right? And he can absolutely cancel all of this out and say, hey, Mike Zim, I endorse him. He is the coach of this team. But hey, as the news cycle goes through its process, we still in that middle place, whether it's going to be Mike Zim, whether it's going to be Rex Ryan now. And reports are already out there that, hey, the front office, they kind of like Ryan. They like Ryan. They like Rex Ryan. I think it's like this. This got to be a situation whereas either Jerry Jones like Rex and Stephen Jones like Mike Zim, or Mike Zim is liked by Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones like Rex Ryan. This is the tug of war that we don't see, the invisible tug of war that goes on with the front office. I would say this: go and get behind whoever it's supposed to be for your defensive coordinator. Let's stop all of this politics and all of this stuff and be all in. Now, Rex Ryan do bring in a kind of caliber of defense that you would like. Now, these players, they're going to have to buy in. It's not going to be an easy learning curve. It's going to be difficult, and they're going to have to buy in. And on top of that, Rex Ryan, he's going to have to get adjusted too, because he's been out of the mix of coaching for 7 years, or 7 to 8 years. That's a long time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the Cowboys can play around with this fire. They can. And they normally do play around with this fire. Mike Zim, of course, he's been out for a year, but we all know that being out for 1 year is a whole lot different than being out for 7 to 8 years. We can go back and forth with the philosophy and the mindset that you would like. I think both of these guys are pretty good to this degree that they're going to demand a certain look for this team, and they're going to put their footprints and fingerprints all over this team. And they're not going to give you that I'm going to be your buddy or I'm going to be your friend type of energy. They're going to bring alpha male mindset. Both of these guys are Territorians. They're going to be on the sideline. They're going to be in the face. Now, granted, I think that Rex is a little bit more edgy than Mike Zim, right? And Rex is going to be pretty much all in the face of Mike McCarthy when things are not right the way it's supposed to be. And I'm looking at Rex too, is that he's not going to be looking at this situation to be only your defensive coordinator. He's going to want to be a head coach. And this is the last year of Mike McCarthy's contract, right? And one of the things that you can literally say with Rex Ryan, that maybe he would look into this situation and say, all right, cool. Let me get one of these young guys, these young offensive-minded guys, to also call my plays, right? Far as offense, if he do become like the head coach down the line type of thing. Mike Zim, hey, it's a whole nother conversation. I would tell you this though, if that other part of the reports of Mike McCarthy getting a phone call from Mike Zim, then that could be a situation, right? Because there are reports that Mike McCarthy called Mike Zim. But I'm hearing that Rex Ryan, he called Mike McCarthy. You know what I'm saying? So y'all help me out with this. Y'all know how the Cowboys operate with all of these type of things. Whereas on one end, you have Rex Ryan saying that, hey, I know what this team is capable of. On the other end, you have Mike Zim, who we all know from his time here in 1995-96 all the way up to 2006 that this team, he's going to demand a certain thing, right? And the last time we lifted up a Lombardi trophy, he was on the staff, right? In some shape, form of capacity of being here. Cowboy Nation, the news cycle continue to move itself, and this is the way it is right now. That the Cowboys always got this type of drama or this type of news heading into the offseason. I get it. On the whole other end of it, if you want money, if you need money, you're going to have to do something with Dak Prescott contract too, right? Either extend or play around with other people contract to have more and more money. Because at the end of the day, with the pieces that we have, we're going to still need some bodies. We're going to still need a linebacker. We're going to still need to figure out our interior play, our defensive tackle stuff. We're going to still need to figure out, do you bring back Stephon Gilmore, right? Or do you go into the draft and draft a DB? Or do you figure out a way to make a trade or an acquisition for a DB? You just can't go into this thing and say, all right, Trayvon Diggs is going to be back to what he used to be before the injury. Bland, he's okay. Let's keep him on the outside. And you still have a glaring hole in the middle of the field as relates to your nickel corner and your linebacker. Those things count. And when we saw this Super Bowl, on both sides of the coin, both defenses stood tall, especially for the first half. Yes, indeed. One can argue throughout the entirety of the game that this was a defensive game, right? And at the end of the day, Pat Mahomes did his thing, but you got to also understand that, the defense stood tall. They were able to make necessary stops. And you can't go to the biggest and the brightest of these type of stages without a good defensive play caller. So whether it's Rex Ryan, whether it is Mike Zimmer, we're going to have to figure this out, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to have to bring some bodies on here that knows how to really bang when it's necessary. Come down, chase, hit, and fill. And then we're going to have an offense that's eligible and capable of running the ball to put some of that pressure off of the quarterback, etc. So, hey, let me know how y'all feel about Rex Ryan versus Mike Zim, and if all of this stuff is for what it is. Cowboy Nation, post me your thoughts, post me your concerns down below. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Let's get it. Who y'all want? Who y'all want?